Hey, I'm Molly Sims.
And I'm Emese Gormley. We're two girls obsessed with one thing, beauty.
And by that, we mean everything that makes you look
And feel.
beautiful.
We're calling on our favorite health experts, industry insiders, and friends to answer all your beauty questions.
With a drink in hand.
Definitely with a drink in hand.
You're listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims. Well, today's guest is someone I have admired for a few years, maybe a few decades, not just for her taste, but for the way she thinks about beauty, fashion, wellness.
She's one of the people who helped shape the modern beauty conversation and made beauty feel smart, nuanced, and worth taking seriously.
She's seen every era, every trend, every shift. She's always been the one to cut through the noise. She might have put me on the cover of Allure magazine. Linda Wells in the house. Oh, Linda.
Hello.
Linda's a legend.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here. It makes me sound like I'm 1,000 years old, and
Don't
I'm
worry,
not that far
you're
away
not.
from it, so that's okay.
Editor-in-chief of Allure for over 25 years. Former food and beauty editor at the New York Times Magazine. Former editor at Vogue. I mean, you have been a chief creative officer at Revlon. You were such a powerhouse. You were still a powerhouse. And that's why I just had to have you on.
I used to collect Allure magazines when I was younger. It was the single magazine that I would race because I was always a beauty addict. And I collected them and I had them all kept on a shelf in my bedroom as a teenager, even as a 20-something-year-old. I stacked them. And I remember Bridget Hall, the cover, was one of my, she was tan and just these lips. And I would read every issue and I would go back to them and I would bookmark them. And there was nothing like it. Allure was like the beauty Bible.
Well, you're so nice to say that. I feel like I should apologize to you because we also had like diets and we had other things and it was a narrow definition of beauty, but we were a part of our culture. And that's when the fact that Bridget Hall was tan, I'm just killing myself inside right now.
But it was such an era.
It was bronzer.
It was bronzer. Maybe
I
not.
mean, I still love a tan, Linda, so don't hate me or judge me.
I know. I'm just saying it because I'm jealous, frankly, because look at my skin. There's no way I'm getting a tan. And the funny thing is when I started Allure, it was 1991. And everybody that I talked to, whether it was advertisers or whether it was people who reported on the media industry, said, how are you going to fill a magazine about beauty every month? And I was like, are you kidding me? There's so much to say. And now you could do daily as people do. You know, you look at Instagram and TikTok. So it's just absolutely exploded as a topic.
I mean, how do you think social media has changed the way women receive beauty information and look at beauty?
I mean, it's changed everything. First of all, it's changed the way our relationship to ourselves. I mean, we're looking at ourselves all the time, and that's a huge difference. So we're much more focused on our appearance. You know, you used to look at yourself in the morning and then leave your house, apartment, and go to work or go to school, whatever, and not look at yourself again pretty much for the rest of the day, maybe once or twice. Now it's every minute of every day you're looking at yourself. So that is a profound change in the way you see yourself. And that has kind of accelerated everything else that goes along with it. It's, you know, the self-criticism about how you look, the desire to change the way you look, the desire to buy a lot of products and put them all on your face, and to do things like get plastic surgery and get injections and get treatments. And so it's changed by helping the acceleration of beauty and the acceleration of all these treatments. And it's also changed because it's democratized the subject. So everybody can have a role and play along. It's given it a lot of energy. So those are really positives. But on the negative side, it's also proliferated a lot of mythology and false information. And, you know, there are also lots of judgmental aspects of social media. It's not all a happy, welcoming place. So, you know, it's got its pros and cons.
How do you navigate through that? I mean, you've done it seamlessly for over 30 plus years. You know, at my time growing up with you at Allure, you were just so ahead Like I remember when the Allures would come out and the best of beauty, what you use, when to use it, how to use it. I mean, you built that. You built that base that is still now. And listen, I think, I don't know, I look back and I'm like, oh, there was good moments to our era. I was talking to someone the other day. I'm like, there was no cameras. We could do whatever we wanted. Yes, there was awful things, the dieting, the grapefruit diet, the Atkins diet, every type of diet that everyone and their mother would cover. But I think what's been so amazing for you is that you've always looked at beauty, wellness, fashion in such a holistic way that because I wouldn't say Linda Wells is trendy.
No, I'm not.
No.
You know, and I try not to personalize this. I think that's a big, I mean, in terms of sort of how do I navigate it personally, I rarely personalize it. So I don't look at the fashion shows. You know, I went to fashion shows for 25 years. I wasn't sitting in the front row thinking, wow, why don't I look like Linda Evangelista? I mean, we're two different species as far as I'm concerned. So I never kind of personalized it. And that I think is kind of healthy. Maybe it's something that when you're not close to being really beautiful, it's like a relief. You don't have to really even play that game. So that was never,
I think you're pretty beautiful, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
But I don't even, it's like, it's fine. I don't have that kind of real complex about it. So, but I think that what I felt like at Allure and what I felt like through my whole career was not to make it judgmental, because I think beauty, even the word itself, it feels like it's a judgment about whether you're pretty or not. And so people feel like it's exclusionary, that you're not allowed to play in this sandbox because, it's only for the pretty girls. It's sort of self-realization. And you can sort of do what you want to do and express yourself and feel good about yourself with these tools and not feel like you have to change yourself. And so I just tried to take away the judgment. And so even in the very first issues of Allure, we never talked about, is it bad to do plastic surgery? What we wanted was for our readers to know enough so that they weren't making bad decisions.
You kept people informed in a really good way. And that's what I love about your column. The look, like, it's trendy. You know the doctors, you know the actors, you know the entertainment, you know the fashion, you know the world. And I think that's what also makes it so successful, because you kind of have that inside look that hasn't changed since Allure.
We're all still looking for the same things we did in the 90s or the early 2000s, right? We're all still looking to, whether or not it's shameful to say, but diet culture just has a different look to it now. So we're not necessarily looking at the salmon diet that was printed, but we're talking about GLP-1s
and peptides.
And peptides. Like, it's
and
not
protein. We're still talking about protein.
We're still talking about protein. And we're still talking about, how to look younger. It's just, I think that what's changed so much is the way we consume it, the pace with which we consume it. And I think, to your point, the way that we actually now look at ourselves and are having much more open conversations. You talk about having a lower BLEF. I had a lower BLEF at the end of September, the best decision I ever made. And I was really open about it, because I think we now live in this world where we do feel comfortable sharing that information. And it doesn't feel like
taboo or shameful.
No.
Well, and that's the thing. And I think shame, there was so much shame attached to pursuing beauty. And so the shame attached to it meant that people were making really bad decisions. You weren't researching doctors properly. There's so many women who would just impulsively go to a doctor and get something done. And, that's not a way to do it. So the elimination of the shame attached to it and the openness to getting procedures done means that we can talk about it and then we can pursue it the right way. I think the big thing that's also changed is the technology, the tools, the lasers, the, injections, if you want them, the procedures, everything has really advanced a lot since I started Allure. It's just light years away from where it was.
What do you think the best change has been?
I really think that GLP-1s are going to change and have already changed the world. The idea that it could eliminate obesity in our culture, that's a huge thing. There's less diabetes. There are all the health implications, but there are also going to be a lot of implications on the rest of our lives that we can't even think about. So I think that, I know people who take GLP-1s because they have Alzheimer's in their families and their parents have it, and they're taking it as a preventive. So there's a lot that we don't know yet. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be really an extraordinary development. And we look at it now as, I can lose 10 pounds for the Oscars. But it's really, I think it's really something so much bigger than that, obviously.
It's revolutionary.
I couldn't agree.
I truly agree with you. From sickness to, addiction, like they're finding more and more what it can do for longevity. And you're big on longevity.
Okay, I have to talk about my skin for a second because something has genuinely changed and I cannot stop telling people about it. I've been using OneSkin and honestly, my skin just feels different. Smoother, more hydrated, more like itself, but better. OneSkin was founded by an all-female team of longevity scientists, PhDs in stem cell biology, skin regeneration, tissue engineering, and their approach to skincare is rooted in real research. Their hero ingredient is the OS01 peptide, the first ingredient clinically proven to target senescent cells, which are a major driver of the visible signs of skin aging. 4 peer-reviewed studies back it up. My skin has been noticeably smoother and firmer since I started using it. And I love that everything is certified safe for sensitive skin, free from over 1,500 harsh ingredients, with the National Eczema Association seal of acceptance. It fits right into my routine without any fuss. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS01 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code LIPSTICK at oneskin.co/lipstick. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code LIPSTICK. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Okay, there is so much noise around weight loss right now, and honestly, it can feel like a lot. Trends, opinions, medications, where do you even actually start? That's why I have to tell you about Hers. They offer personalized treatment plans that include medication if prescribed, nutrition tips, tools for tracking movement, hydration, and sleep, plus access to 24/7 support, all through 100% online care with licensed providers who actually learn your story and go at your pace. And it's not just weight loss. Hers has you covered for hair, anxiety, menopause symptoms, lab testing, and so much more. They actually have really thought of everything. Feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/lipstick to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/lipstick. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions.
Let's kind of break it down. Plastic surgery, 2026. Where are we? What are you hearing in Hollywood and New York and from your side of being an editor?
Everybody's talking about plastic surgery and the way that they used to talk about injections, and people are really not getting filler the way they did. But I was just at a party, a Super Bowl party, and a 38-year-old was like, should I get a brow lift? I was like, oh my God, stop.
Yeah.
This is really out of control. And I think this sort of hunger to do it early, this notion that it's preventive, I think we're going crazy. I haven't had any facial plastic surgery, so I feel like I've kind of missed the boat. I wrote in that story that you read that I feel like now whenever I hang out with my rich friends, I look 20 years older because everybody looks so young. The other thing is that we learn all these terminology. People learn about lasers, and so somebody else at the party said, "I'm going to go get a CO2 laser," and I'm like, "Oh my God, are you crazy? That is really an intense laser. You're going to be out of commission for probably 2 weeks, and you're going to feel so terrible. It's such a deep burn. Would you think about getting a Fraxel?" But we're not doctors. I'm not a doctor, and no one at that party, I don't think, was a doctor. And so we're going into doctors and saying, "I want a deep plane facelift," or I want a brow lift. We should not be telling doctors what we want. You should find the best doctor, do the research, get someone who's board certified, and then say, "What do you think I should do? You're the doctor. You're the expert."
So true.
It's so true. That is such good advice.
Going back to what we were saying before, social media has so much in there that, do I do this? You can easily get swayed into thinking that something is the right thing for you because you see someone who in that little 60-second clip that you just watched looks amazing. And so I actually watched this girl talk about Sculptra. And I was like, what is Sculptra? I don't know what Sculptra is. So I go to my derm, Dr. Marnie Nussbaum. I go, Marnie, do I need Sculptra? And I don't know if you know Marnie, but she shrieks with her voice. And she's like, oh my God, no. Like she is like, absolutely not. And it was so funny because to your point, you go to the wrong person, right? You don't go to a doctor. You go to a med spa that a lot of these people go to.
And those are dangerous. P.S.
Dangerous. Some people go to a med spa and they say, hey, I saw this person talking about Sculptra on Instagram, so I want it. And they're like, they just see dollar signs. And they go, sure, let's do some Sculptra. And to your point, you're not actually getting the right thing done because from what I understand, Sculptra is actually like,
Sculptra is a filler, right?
it's a filler that can actually like, you have to have it surgically removed. So it can be dangerous is what I was told. But again, that's one doctor.
You know, I think it's a little unpredictable, but I think it causes the collagen to build up around it. And so that's what causes the filler. The filler is kind of the reaction to what is injected. But I don't know how exact it is. And so that would be my concern is it very exact? But I think that, that's some of my advice is like, the other thing is who are you following on social media? Maybe you should be following Marnie Nussbaum rather than somebody with 2 million followers who is not a doctor, but is going to tell you what to do.
Totally.
Call me crazy, but these doctors have really good Instagrams. Follow them.
When it comes to skin science and new ingredients, what are you seeing and where are we going?
There's, of course, a lot, and there's always a lot happening. And I think right now I'm excited about copper as an ingredient. It's a peptide. And I just wrote about peptides. And of course, we know all about the injectable peptides, or we're talking about the injectable peptides.
Can you talk a little bit for our listeners? Because they are obsessed with, do we do it? Do we not? What is it?
Yeah. Okay. So I just wrote about it for Harper's Bazaar not too long ago. And I really pretty much knew nothing about it. They're amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks of protein, which you probably remember from your, high school biology. Different peptides can be used you can inject them and they cause a reaction in your body. So they can cause your body to produce more stem cells or produce more growth hormones or produce more, mitochondria or do something that either increases your muscle mass or increases your energy or helps your immunity or helps your recovery from, whether it's from surgery or from, weightlifting. Different peptides have a lot of different various functions, and you get your different peptides and you take them sometimes once a week, sometimes twice a week for a certain period of time. And the GLP-1s are a peptide. Insulin is a peptide, but the challenge really is that these are not FDA approved. Many of them come from China, and you do not know which ones come from China and which ones don't. And they come usually from labs in China that are designed for research purposes, which might mean that they are not sanitary and to be used in humans. They're not intended to be used in humans. Then they go to compounding pharmacies. And then you have to wonder, are those compounding pharmacies sanitary? How do you know? You're not going to compound pharmacies to check them. And even if you went, you wouldn't know. And then you're injecting these things. You just don't know what's going to happen. There's no regulation. And the people who are handing out these peptides, a lot of them aren't doctors.
You need to go to a real doctor. Like even the GLP-1s.
I mean, I'm on a GLP-1. I've been on one for 2 years. It's been a life changer for me, or a game changer. And I go to Dr. Soa, Dr. Alexandra Soa. She is a weight loss doctor, has been studying GLP-1s for 10 years. I mean, she's really been working on it for longer than we've been using it for cosmetic reasons, so to speak. And I think it makes a difference.
Right.
I feel like I'm in safer hands.
Telemedicine is great for some things, but this is not the place where you want to start to kind of Google and start to order. And so when I was reporting this, I was like, oh my God, this is so great. I need to get these peptides. And I finished the story and I'm like, I'm into it. And then I thought, this is insane. I am not doing this. Have you tried it?
I just
Not
tried
GLP-1s,
it.
but
the
I have not.
BPOC. BPOC.
We talked about it. I talked about
Yeah.
it today. We were getting my hair done this morning, and I was like, "Sign me up!" The girl who's doing our hair,
Emily.
I was like, "This sounds amazing." She was like, "Yeah, it's like it's. I feel I have more energy. I have this." But then I literally was going to text her later and be like, "Can you send me the pharmacy?" But now talking to you, Linda, I'm like, "Well, we're gonna hold off on those peptides from China."
Go to a doctor. Just go to a doctor and make sure that they've checked out where they're getting the sourcing of this, because you just do not want to play around. And that's the
No.
thing. You think, oh my gosh, my hairdresser's had such a good experience. That's enough. Well, no, it isn't.
No.
You know?
But I don't want to be a guinea pig. To your point, we don't know what's happening. It might
Yes.
take a year or 2 years or 10 years to figure out that that's causing some kind of a chain reaction in your
Right.
body that we won't know
Right.
about for years to come.
Yeah. Did you see the substance?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Which ingredients or categories are you genuinely excited about?
I'm always excited about skincare. I just love skincare. I love whatever's new. I love what comes out of real science. To me, that's thrilling. Copper is something that I'm really interested in, because copper is a peptide that is actually applied topically. And it was tested and found to be more effective than retinol and vitamin C. So that to me is really interesting. And I just think there's another thing called DNA repair enzymes. It was originally studied, and the scientist who did it won the Nobel Prize for the science. Then someone else got the technology and figured out how to apply it to skincare and combine it with liposomes so that it could be absorbed into the skin. And it actually repairs DNA damaged by the sun or pollution. So all the dumb stuff that we did when we were teenagers, this fixes it. It's amazing to me that, why aren't they in really mainstream products? But they aren't yet.
And why do you think that is?
I really don't know why. What's crazy? It was in a Paris Hilton skincare product. And then she reformulated, changed the name, and it's not in it anymore.
What are your thoughts on Manuka honey? Because our mutual friend, I am obsessed with this
so
brand,
right.
Aunu. And
Yep.
I use their essence, and it's Michael, actually, Carl is who introduced me to it. And
Me too.
I am obsessed. It's medical grade Manuka honey that's harvested once a year in New Zealand. And they use it in hospitals for wound repair.
Yes.
And
What's
it is
the product?
it's the Essence by
It's called
Aunu.
Aunu.
It's actually on my spring must-have list in our episode
Oh,
we're
good.
recording.
I've written about it too.
It's
and
phenomenal.
I totally agree. And I was going to name that too. And it's so interesting to me that this is not a cutting edge ingredient. I mean, you wouldn't think honey would
No.
be a cutting edge ingredient.
I mean, I shared the product on my Instagram, and I have gotten so many messages from people literally just going, "This has changed my skin. I've been using it for like a week." And
I
people
love
with
it.
acne,
I love
people,
it.
it really is like one of the products that I've gotten so much feedback on, not
Yeah.
one negative one.
When it was like -6 here, and I was dog sitting for my son's dog, and so I had to go outside. Otherwise I would never have walked out the door. I was using the Salve, that
Yes.
Aunu Salve, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's the whole line is fantastic. The cleanser is like this rich honey.
It's such a good cleanser.
What do you think is one right now out there overhyped, completely useless ingredient trend that people are, you mentioned plasma but is there something else that you think is kind of complete bullshit?
I'm going to be struck by lightning, but most facials are just really, really relaxing. But I think a lot of them are really about the application of products. And it's just that you're being pampered and you feel really good and someone's taking care of you. If they're using machines and lasers and, red light, and then it's another story. But a lot of them, I mean, if it's a gua sha, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Gua sha's bullshit. What do you really think is going to do with that thing going up and down your face? You walk out the door and you're not going to be lifted. Anything with lifting on it, nothing's going to lift.
A face
nothing
lift.
will
Gonna
lift your
but
face.
Levine is going to lift you possibly one
Do
day.
you follow
Dr. Levine.
Mrs. Derm on Instagram?
Oh, yes, I do. I do. Yeah.
She's one of
She's
those.
good.
She's great. And she talks
Yeah.
about it all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, get a facial if you just want to
Yeah.
be pampered. But like, don't go thinking you're going to walk out of there with like, looking 10 years younger unless they use tools. I do agree with the tools.
And machines. And
Yeah.
the other thing about facials, they've gotten so expensive.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, you
I
really
mean,
kind of
yes.
can't get out for under $1,000. And then a lot of these people aren't licensed. So once they get in the tools, you kind of want to know if they're licensed or not, because there are a lot of, we've written a story about it. It's really tricky, especially some of the med spas. They're not 100%.
A couple of years ago, CO2, it went from Fraxel to baby Fraxel to CO2. Now,
Right.
CO2 has been around for, Mary Alice did
A long
it
time.
10 years ago. She went under, she did it. She was out for almost a month. I think what everyone really has to be cautious of, it's these deep, like burn. And again, I'm not saying don't do it, but now you're not hearing just about the CO2. You're hearing about the baby CO2. You're taking down the level of the burn. You're taking down the level of the intensity. I just think it's a very slippery slope.
I think it's trouble too. And it really worries me. And I think calling things baby, it's like, I mean, it's literally infantilizing, but it's sort of cutifying everything. And then I think it stops becoming serious. It's not baby, a baby facelift to baby CO2.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a way to start to, or, something silly like the ponytail lift.
Well, I think we also we easily believe what we see without.
We want the magic pill. We're
Of
speaking about
course.
hair, minoxidil, dutasteride. Like there's a lot of things that have come in the past 2, 3, 5+ years that have made true advances
Yeah.
in
Yes.
hair loss. Nutrafol, there's incredible scientific backed. And I think, listen, you have to be careful, to go back to Linda's point, go to a real
Yeah.
medical doctor.
Yeah.
Now, to speak to minoxidil, it's been around for jillions of decades. And the dosage is so tiny for, this is the pill dosage, not the foam or, the topical. And the topical is tough for women to use because it's really not very attractive. And it's, we don't want to use this stuff. So I take minoxidil pills and I take a half at night. And it is really a proven medication. Now, that's something you could get on telemedicine. And I do go to a doctor to get it, but, I don't think it's necessary. I think you can get it
You
from
could do it on MIDI Health, on hers.
MIDI Health.
Listen, there's a lot
And
of great
Alloy.
telehealth, but to put Alloy, there's certain advances that have really made a difference, because I know for me, through, some medical mishaps, 3 children, hormones, pregnancies,
Yes, children.
Synthroid I take because I have my thyroid has affected my hair. It's been such a roller coaster. You're like, today, you're like, your hair looks so much better after all these years.
Yeah.
The other thing was women didn't talk about hair loss until very recently because it's masculine and people don't want to feel like they're turning into men. You're losing your femininity and hair. Every doctor who's, every oncologist says that, when women get breast cancer, what really becomes upsetting is when they lose their hair during chemotherapy. And obviously they're upset about the breast cancer and it's a very visible result of having cancer. And so that becomes very, very upsetting. But it is something that is legitimately disturbing. And rather than try to minimize that and think it's not important, I shouldn't care, accept the fact that it's something that matters and you can care about it and you can do something about it. I had this treatment from someone in the same practice as Andrew Timberlake, and Dr. Ben Paul, and he put this topical mixture that he does with minoxidil and finasteride. And so it's topical, so it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier because you don't want finasteride because it has too many side effects. So he puts it on your scalp and then he uses this machine called TED. And then it's an ultrasound machine and it sort of goes on your head all around. It's not painful. So it's unlike injections, PRP injections, platelet-rich plasma, which also really works, but it's painful. This is not painful. And then you do it once and then you wait 6 months and do it again. And that has really helped me. So, this is another
I would love to
advancement.
do that.
Yeah.
Your hair, you don't need it. Your hair is great.
And it takes like 20 minutes. So,
I'm
when you're in the city, go see Dr. Paul. He's really, really nice.
I do think that hair, for me, thinning, shedding, through every pregnancy and then ultimately realizing it was my thyroid, like it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah. It's upsetting. And that expression, bad hair day, was symbolic of, things being terrible. And so as superficial as we know beauty is, it also has connections to things that are very important to our identity and the way we see ourselves and the way we function in the world. And I think that it's okay to recognize that and not to minimize that. And I think that that's one of the things I've always tried to do in my career and in writing and reporting is to not diminish it as a subject, to honor it and to honor women and men and people who care about it.
And meeting people where they're at. There's so much out there that's not good, right? To weave through, like that's what I love about your column. I love you. Clearly, you have the best taste. I get a lot of women my age saying, I'm effing tired and I feel dull. Right. Is there a spa? Is there a place? Is there something you recommend? I want to go to this place. I've always wanted to go. Manuka Blender. It's an Austrian where they do your blood. Have you heard?
Yeah.
We're going there one day.
Is that? Can we record an
which
episode
one?
there?
Could we record
Lanzerhof?
Lanzerhof.
That's it.
Some of those Austrian, German, Swiss spas are very Austrian, German, and Swiss. They're not American.
Yeah.
Now, Molly Sims used to see you at SoulCycle and you were sweating up a storm with me. We like to work out and we like to get things done and and it's a lot of lying around. I was laughing because I was looking at the website of a place called the Meyer Clinic.
Oh my God, I just looked at that.
I called and asked them about it and they said, just the woman who answered the phone, I said, what are the meals like? And they said, well, you have goat's yogurt in the morning and then you have a buckwheat roll. And I said, I'd heard that you have to chew it a lot. And they said, yes, every bite, 40 times every bite. And she said, you have to eat in silence alone. And she said, oh, and don't forget, we give you broth. I was like, oh. Wow. And then in the website, there's someone lying on a couch with an oxygen mask on. This is not what I want to do. I do not want to lie around with an oxygen mask. This is not my cup of tea. I would much rather go to the ranch in Hudson Valley or Malibu and work out and
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
We can save our money.
Yeah, we can save our money.
It's a hard pass now.
It's like, do you want to have a buckwheat roll? And chew it by yourself?
40 chews?
You won't even talk to your friends.
Can we talk about the fact that I have been sleeping on Skims? I finally tried the Fits Everybody collection, and I genuinely don't know why it took me so long. The Fits Everybody thong completely converted me. This fabric is different. It melts right onto your skin, and you forget it's there. And the crossover bralette? I consider myself a bralette connoisseur, so when I say this one blew me away, I really mean it blew me away. Real support, real lift, but it doesn't feel like it's squeezing the life out of you. I do not know what kind of voodoo magic is in this fabric, but I need it in every single color. I'm not being dramatic when I say I'm replacing my entire underwear drawer. Shop this Skims Fits Everybody collection at skims.com/lipstick. And after you order, select podcast in the survey and pick our show. They need to know we sent you. Okay, so I have a wedding coming up and I have been on a major mission to find something that actually feels special. I want to walk in and feel like it's a moment. Thankfully, Macy's always comes through. Right now, they're running this trend called Pastel Dream. Soft colors, lace, ruffles, a little sheer, all put together in a way that feels chic and intentional, not costumey. Their fashion experts basically curated the perfect spring occasion wardrobe, and I am taking full advantage. For the wedding, I'm going to go with this flowy dress and layered necklaces, and I've already spotted some pastel floral tops that are going to look amazing with jeans for every other day of my life. Oh, and they brought it into home too. Pastel place settings, textured bedding, your whole space can feel like spring. Macy's really did think of every last detail. Soft colors, great pieces, spring dressing has honestly never felt this easy. Head to Macys.com or shop in store to find your pastel dream look now.
Let's do a little rapid fire. Most overrated beauty trend right now.
Oh God, I'm not being rapid. How about that? I think giving yourself Botox, making Botox and giving it to yourself.
A beauty rule that needs to disappear.
Use contour to reshape your face.
Oh, I agree.
Oh, God, I agree.
I hate that.
I hate contouring.
Oof.
One thing about beauty culture that makes you cringe.
I think that beauty culture itself, it really, the idea of there being a beauty culture and that I really hate the judgment. I hate the whole notion of the male gaze and preparing for that. One thing that really drives me crazy is when beauty companies say that their products are going to give you confidence. And that is such a common thing. And I worked at a cosmetics company for a couple of years. And it was like, we are not allowed to say that. I forbid that, because how dare you? These products don't give you confidence. You've got confidence. That's an internal thing. And the products are just there. Let's imbue them with power that they don't have.
Agreed.
A product category people overthink.
Cleansing.
I agree.
I just think it's way overcomplicated, and it doesn't need to be so many steps and so many hours. I think people do it. Maybe people do it because it feels good. And, it's that notion of self-care, which is actually something that makes me cringe. But I think that, it's not necessary to cleanse your face with 3 different products.
Best beauty advice you've ever received.
Look in the best mirror available, and then hold that in your head for the rest of the day.
Oh, I love that.
Just don't look at your neck.
One thing you still...
And don't go on FaceTime.
One thing you still genuinely love about beauty.
That it changes all the time. That there's always something new. I worked with a woman who got her 3rd and perhaps final facelift when she was in her 90s. And it's like, the fact that you want to do that just says you've got hope and you've got...
I love it.
I love that
you
too.
can still, you can still want to look good no matter what, no matter how old you are.
Listen, my mother loved a good facelift. I think she did too.
She looked amazing.
She looked amazing.
And she never looked like she had a facelift.
No, I was trying to think back when she first had it. I think she had it in her late 50s. She never did a lot, but what she did was always phenomenal. She only did Botox.
Good.
She never did filler.
Yeah.
She was a good egg.
Oh, and she was beautiful. Beautiful.
We always ask every guest before they go, if you could give advice to your 10-year-old self, what was 10-year-old Linda Wells like?
Oh, I was so happy. I don't think I would give myself any advice. I was having the best time. But the only maybe when you get your braces off, please wear your retainer. And you're not going to ever get a suntan, so please don't try. I tried really hard. And maybe don't smoke cigarettes. It doesn't make you cool.
I'm obsessed with you. We're obsessed with you. You have helped generations of women feel smarter, calmer. I always see you either at a party or from afar, and that's Linda Wells. You're always so elegant and chic and put together. And you're just a fierce.
You were always
I love you.
synonymous to me with beauty. I mean, that's just the truth.
Oh, you're very nice. Both of you. That's very nice of you. I love what you do. And I really, really appreciate it. I love being on and having the chance to talk to you.
And you guys have to follow
It's
her.
really an honor.
It's Airmail Look. And you can follow her on Instagram at Linda Wells, NY, New York. You're the best.
You have to come to lunch the next time with Michael and Julia.
We'll come eat with you.
I'd love
and
it.
Drink.
I'd love it.
And have a
Anytime.
cocktail or 9.
Excellent.
You're the best.
Love
we
seeing
love
you both.
you.
Thanks for listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims and my ride or die, Emese Gormley. We are so excited to bring you guys along on this journey with us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Lipstick on the Rim and at Molly B. Sims. Or you can go to my blog where you can dive just a little bit deeper into my favorite products, trends, and more at mollysims.substack.com. And don't forget to check out our video episodes on my YouTube channel, Molly Sims. This podcast is a production with Sony Music. I wanted to give a special thanks to my team, Rosie Cummings, Kenna Ryan, Sophie Kevorkian, and everyone at Sony Music. Don't forget to listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss out on the fun.